Welcome to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Hey, that's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Our show features the best positive stories and people from around the globe as we endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything, and knowing your greatness is fundamental to living your best life. So join us right now as together we work to create the adventure of our lifetime. And welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Kevin McDonald, and you knew that, or if you didn't, you know it now. And we've got a great show for you today. You know, I've done a lot of these shows, and one of the things that we've never really touched on is alchemy. Well, I have with us today an alchemist. She's a spiritual alchemist. Her name is Val Toledo, and she's way over across the lake from us, and it's a big lake. It's the Atlantic Ocean, and so she's in merry old England, I do believe.
Well, no, I'm in Cyprus, not England.
Oh, you're in Cyprus. I'm still
far away.
I have another interview I'm doing next week, and they're from England, so I just got you guys confused. I'm sorry. In any event,
I did give you London time.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's what it was.
That's what it was. Yeah.
But I'm glad that you're here, and it's later in the evening where you are, and we are in fresh in the morning over in Seattle, Washington. And so I'm glad that you're here because we're going to talk about alchemy and spiritual alchemists and what you do and how it can positively affect somebody's life for the better. And so I guess we should just kind of begin. Could you explain to our audience, because we haven't really talked about it a whole lot, but
No.
Could you explain what alchemy is?
Well, I was thinking about it actually today. And I thought, I know how I see alchemy, but maybe I should look it up. So I looked up a couple of definitions just to make sure I had it right in my mind. And I found a definition that really, really 100% addresses the way I see alchemy and the way I work with alchemy. And if I may just read it, it's very short.
Of course.
So while physical alchemy deals with altering and transforming the properties in the physical world, so it's like working with metals and transforming metals. And that's why they always talk about turning lead to gold. That's like your physical metal altering. But what it really means in the spiritual world, spiritual alchemy, it means freeing your spiritual self from fears, limiting beliefs, a lack of self-acceptance. Alchemy is the art of transformation, inner liberation, and change. And I thought, wow, I could not have found a better definition to explain it than this. So I was very glad I found this today.
Well, I am too, because that is what we try and get across here on the show is that everybody can lead their best life. As a matter of fact, we say it in the opening, why am I really here? What am I here to do? And if you find out what that is, then you can begin to lead your best life. And that is what we're all striving to do at one point or another, I would guess, at least all the people that I come in contact with.
Yeah, it's finding the best version of yourself. We all have many facets. I always say we like diamonds with all these beautiful facets. But what I'm trying to help people do through the books and through the coaching is find the version of yourself, the facet of your own beautiful, perfect diamond that turns to face the light and shines and really catches the light and shines. And that's what I'm really trying to achieve, to bring people into being that amazing version that they are, they have it, it's inside them, it's there, they're born with it. But a lot of them don't discover it. A lot of them have had very hard times, have had trauma in their lives. So it gets hidden away, covered layer after layer like an onion. You've got the layers and the layers around the onion, and the center is in the center of you. Your divine, beautiful, perfect self is in the center of the onion. And sometimes, we just have to peel away the layers to get to the light so you can face the light and shine. So it's finding that version of yourself.
I've heard that before, and the way that they phrased it. Her name is Michelle Blood. She worked with Bob Proctor and others, and the way that she phrased it was that we were born with a perfect diamond, as a perfect diamond,
Totally.
but over time the layers start to form because of the stories that we're told, the people who say we're not good at this or we can't do that. And so the layers start to form, and they really hide the beauty of the diamond that is underneath all of that. And our job is to get rid of, and you do this beautifully with the work that you do, is to get rid of the layers of, for lack of a better term, I'll call it gunk. The gunk that we have that surrounds
Absolutely.
that surrounds
the
us.
layers of mud that stick to
Yes.
our bodies and cover us. It's got to be washed off, wiped off. And it's interesting you say that, because often when I go into a long distance healing and I don't know the person at all, I often see I see it in different ways. It depends who it is. But very often it looks like clay covering them. And I can't see who they are. And we have to basically peel away and move those layers and layers and coverings to find that perfect essence, that perfect spark within, that soul spark within them, to help them to shine. But often moving those layers away is like peeling an onion, because when you peel an onion, your eyes get quite teary and they burn a little. So often it's quite a challenging journey to face your inner demons, to face your wounds, to face your trauma, to face the very things that are holding you down, the ropes that bind you, the belief systems that tie you down into a set reality that you can't break out of. And all of those things have to be addressed, peeled away, and reinstated through the coaching, through the healing. And it is hard work. And a lot of people don't want to do it because it takes a lot of courage to truly shine. It's not as easy as people think.
Well, and in a lot of cases, people don't, they may think that they want to change or that they want to improve or they want to get rid of those layers, but they don't have any earthly idea how to
No.
even begin the process. That's why it is so important to have a coach who can look at you as you are and not how you think you are, because a lot of times how we think we are is not who we really are.
No, we are exactly as that lady you spoke about. We're all born absolutely perfect. Each of us has our own unique handprint. There's not one handprint in the world that's the same as the other. I mean, that in itself is miraculous. If you just think of that, like the billions of people in the world and no one has the same handprint. So that just shows how unique we are. And in that uniqueness, we carry skills and talents and beauty. And we carry something we can offer back to the world. We carry a light within us that needs to be placed in a certain part of the world. I always look at people I work with and I go, well, now when they're whole and they're shining their light, I know they're going to harness light in that particular part of the world, whether they're in Montreal or in Cape Town or in America, London, wherever they are. Once they have found that essence within them, I know that from that day on, if they commit it and if they own it, because they have to own it and they have to integrate it, they can't just do a little journey and forget about it. They have to do the work. They have to do the mastery to become the master alchemist. We spoke about the mastery in alchemy and how you have to hold that space. You have to hold the lead that you moved to gold. You have to hold that new frequency, that new vibration that's within you. And when you hold it, you harness the light. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you cleaning offices, making tea, teaching, the CEO of a company, a mom, a dad. It doesn't matter what you do. Just being that true light is enough to harness the light for everybody around you. You don't have to do some great, amazing deed, purpose, mission. If you want to, of course you can. But just by holding that space changes everybody around you.
Even if you are just decide that you are going to be the best housewife you can, or
Totally.
the best secretary you can impact everyone around you with the energy that you bring if you raise
Right.
your energy to a level and then be able to hold it there, or to continue to, as you do.
Yes.
You have a program called the Upward Spiral,
Yes.
and it's a program that you have, that you help people, right? Can't I speak this morning? Raise their
Gremlins are getting into you too, not just to me.
to raise their individual energy level and their vibration, and have that be part of who they are, rather than it be something that they do. It's who they are. It's their That's what they are being. Does
They
that make
are
sense?
being. They are being. I mean, there's someone we both know. I know you've interviewed him, Neil Walsh. Neil Donald
Neil Donald
Walsh.
Walsh, yes.
He's got the most beautiful quote, and it's in my second book. If you can be in your beingness, which is your knowingness of who you are, if you can be that in all the doingness times of your life, then you know you've mastered it. And I
Yeah.
mean, that sounds easy, but it's really not. I mean, I was challenged today with the computer crashing and another interview I had being rescheduled, and I didn't get the email, and the person was very cross with me. And I mean, I had so many challenges today. And I had to just really hold it. Maybe it was a test, maybe it was a challenge. Like, you're going to be talking about this now. Let's test you. Come on, girl, let's test you. And it's horrible. You do get tested as you rise up the spiral and you get higher and higher, and your frequency gets higher and higher, and your consciousness shifts. And we can talk about the consciousness and the wounded ego that holds us ransom and holds us in prison. I say we held in a prism of our own personality that actually is our prison that we held in, because our woundedness and our negative belief systems that roll around us from the time we were born till from the time we grew up, till genetic lineage, our mothers, some people I work with, it's 5 generations back, that they have a belief system that, oh, you'll never amount to anything, for example. Oh, who do you think you are? Another example. And those things are working around and around, and they're inside our physical bodies, inside our cellular memory. So it's you've got to really master that sense of space and holding that sense of space. It's not easy.
Well, and like today, you were challenged by circumstances.
A
It's
gremlin came into my computer.
Well, it's like a story that I haven't told it yet, but I will now. Um, I hate being late. I was a bus driver, and you're not allowed to be late, and all of this. And one time, I was running late to an appointment, and every light turned red.
Oh,
And every light that was turning red and I had to stop and I had to wait, and I was getting more and more frustrated until I came to another red light, and I said, "All right, you guys are testing me, aren't you? You're
Yeah.
just gonna see how far I'll go." And I started laughing because
Yeah,
it's like,
you have to laugh.
why
That's
are you going through this? You don't need to go through this. And as it turned out, I wasn't late to the meeting at all. So it
You
was
let
just
it go. You let it go. Hand it over.
you just got to let it go.
Yeah. That's, by the way, step 10 of the upward spiral, just by the way.
Oh,
So there
well, I knew I
you
had one of them.
Yeah, that's the most difficult one to do because you've got to move into trust.
Yes.
And you've got to move into the frequency of, I'm just going to hand over, if you're religious, to God, or hand over to the universe, whatever your beliefs are. And I'm just going to hand over and let go. And that's what I did when I was trying to fix my computer. I thought, I don't even know how to phone you. I don't have your number. I can't email you. I would have tried from my phone, but your email address is on my computer. So there was no way of getting hold of you. And I thought, how am I going to let you know that my computer's crashed? And I just went into complete and utter trust that I'm just handing it over, and whatever's supposed to be will be. And
I,
luckily, it
I have
worked.
to I have to tell you, one of the things that I say to people, I said this to an assistant who was all up in arms about a particular thing, and I said, look, you have to do according to the gospel of Paul McCartney.
Yes.
And do you know who Paul McCartney is?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, well, thank God.
I don't know his gospel.
His one of the songs that he wrote was
Let
"Let
it
It
be.
Be." And we need to take a break, and when we come right back, we're going to discuss how to let it be and not to take everything so darn personally that it ruins your life and the people's around you. And the people's around you, goodness gracious, and the folks around you that depend upon you for positivity and your energy and who you are. We're talking to Val Toledo. We'll be right back after this important message. Please stay tuned. Are you looking for a powerful way to grow your brand while making a real difference? Well, Positive Talk is the perfect platform to align your message with inspiration, hope, and meaningful conversations. By sponsoring Positive Talk, your brand will reach an engaged audience that values positivity and connection. People who want to support companies that share their values. Take this opportunity to showcase your business in a space that uplifts, inspires, and creates lasting impact. Don't wait. Email me, Kevin@kmmedia.pro today to learn how you can partner with us and spread positivity while growing your brand. And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, everybody. We've got Val Toledo here. She's in Cyprus. That's south of Greece, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
so
is.
you're a long swim away from where
I'm a
we are.
long time away in a small, sweet little place that only has about 1 million people in total.
Oh, good. Well, that's it. Depending on how big the space is, 1 million people can be very cramped, or it could be
No,
all spaced
it's
out.
quiet. It's quiet and calm, and I'm starting to love it. It was not easy in the beginning, 2 years ago when I came here, but I'm starting to harness the energy in this part of the world.
So I have to ask you, what motivated you to go there? Was it something that one day you woke up and said, "I need to go to Cyprus"?
Yeah, it's a lot of things, and it's a very long story, but let's put it this way. I was born in South Africa. I love South Africa. I love South African people. I miss them more than I miss the country. Every single South African person I adore. They have such a lovely energy. If you ever get the chance to visit, everybody's happy, smiling, beautiful energy. With all the problems, with the crime, with the unemployment, with the poverty, we've still got a lot of happy, happy people. But one day I woke up, I looked out my window, and I went to myself, something is wrong with the frequency here. It just didn't feel right to me anymore. It felt like I needed to go somewhere else as part of my journey to improve what I do, to improve my own advancement. And there were some domestic reasons for it. My lovely miracle child, daughter I told you about, who's only 12, I felt it was a safer place for her to grow up in. Cape Town was getting a bit scary crime-wise, South Africa generally. And I thought it was safer to bring her up here. It would be a better place to bring her up. But something just didn't feel right for me. And I think it's because the leadership was not in integrity. The leadership running the country was out of integrity. And the whole frequency of a leadership running a country that is not in the highest form of integrity did not work for me. And it was a very difficult decision. It was not easy. So it was a mixture of a lot of things. But generally, I say I've walked through the wilderness. I've walked through the desert the last 2 years, very lonely, not knowing anyone. I've kind of had a lot of time to work on my own self and my own limitations and my own demons, and continue to clear my vessel, clear my vessel, clear my vessel, peel away all the shells and the husks and all the layers and remain as pure to myself and my own unique diamond, my own unique facet, and my own unique handprint. To
Well,
remain pure to that.
and the reason that I bring that up is that oftentimes spirit or God or your intuition will tell you that you need to do something other than what you're doing now to
That's
continue your growth, to continue the experiences that are going to make you who you are. And I'm here to tell you that those 2 years that you spent not having a lot of folks around you and stuff helped you learn how to be who you really are. And so that is continuing to grow you into the person that you are now and
right.
as you continue to grow, it's going to continue in that pattern. So you may not end up where you are forever, but
No,
it's
not,
good, it's good now.
but it's good for now. And it helped me master my art. It helped me master my spiritual alchemy. It helped me build my spiritual muscle. People go to gym to train and build their muscles, but they don't understand that one of the most important things in life is to build your spiritual muscle. So it helped me become a master of helping other people transform their negativity to positivity, helping them do that within their own bodies and their minds and their emotions, as well as helping them to learn how to do it forever ongoing. So not only did I help them transform, and I'm happy to share how I do it if you would like to hear, not only did I help them transform their negativity, peel their layers away so their true light can shine and they can see their purpose and their potential, but it also helped me to create almost like a toolbox that I could hand over to them and go, okay, you've spent 15 hours with me, which is all it really takes, depending on the trauma, obviously. I mean, if you're suicidal or very depressed or have addiction problems, it can take longer. But if you're just generally trying to get rid of old patterns, old cycles, it takes about 15 hours, and then you are clear of your old thoughts, your old belief systems, your old traumas. You clear what I say, you're an empty vessel now. So the empty vessel can continue to just fill with light. And then I show them how they can continue forever. It never ends. So you've gone up the spiral to the frequency of courage, which is 200, or neutrality, which is 250. So at neutrality, that's when you're able to do, Kevin, what you said. I'm in my neutral zone, no intense emotions, no heightened triggers, no reactiveness. I'm neutral. I'm handing over. And then once you're at that point, you can continue to spiral up, up, up as far as you want to go and forever and share it. The important thing is that once you're there, everyone, it's quite miraculous actually, everyone in the family kind of comes in. It's like they all zoom into, especially if you're the mother of the family and you're holding the whole family together. Often with husbands and wives, the wife's got to be very strong to hold her space so that the husband can rise up to that level as well. And everyone you meet in your work environment, everybody you speak to, you just have that effect on them because everybody, as you said earlier, tries to match that frequency or wants to know more.
However, sometimes they don't. And in those cases, if somebody chooses, and I believe it's a choice, if somebody chooses not to work on themselves and to vibrate at a higher level, sometimes they just go away. And sometimes that's the way it's designed to be.
It's absolutely fine. And you know, this program that I give and the Upward Spiral books, the Upward Spiral is an autobiography of how I did it for myself in my life. And the Upward Spiral journey into action is teaching, first of all, getting people to be in touch with their true selves, clearing all the old stuff away. And then it's teaching them how to become a master alchemist. So every challenge you get, every conflict situation, you're not reactive, you're responsive. It's a very big difference. So if someone cuts in front of you in the traffic, you know, the road rage and all that story, you're not going to be reactive because you're not going to get triggered. You're going to go through the 10 steps, process it out of you, and you're going to be responsive about it or let go as you did when you were late. And you will continue to do that forever. And then the third book, which is the diary, the Frequency Alchemy diary, that is your diary. And you keep it with you every day, put your appointments in, and that keeps on reminding you and nudging you to stay into that frequency that you possibly got to 200, 250, 300, whenever you completed the 15 hours. It continues to do that. However, it's an enormous transformation. It's a big, big shift. You will, once you have this knowledge, never be the same again because you're at a higher consciousness. So remember we spoke, Kevin, about the 3 different forms of consciousness. So you can be at a victim consciousness where it's everybody else's fault and you've had a terrible life and everybody's done bad to you. And at that level of consciousness, you cannot change your life. It's impossible. Then you can move into survival consciousness where you're surviving in the jungle. You're in the jungle. You're not going to get hunted. You're hiding. You're fighting. You're surviving. And it's not a bad place to be. It has its place, especially in our 20s and 30s, where we're trying to make it and we're ambitious and we want to make it big. There's nothing wrong with that consciousness. But eventually, as you get to your 40s and 50s, you are needing more. And that's when you move into individual consciousness and co-creative consciousness. And that's when you reach a certain frequency of enlightened consciousness. In other words, you're not unconscious anymore. You're aware of everything going on around you. You're aware of the way you behave. You're aware of the way other people behave. You're able to see things clearly. You're able to see 5 years ahead. You'll have visions of where you need to go, what you need to do, or your intuition will click in like mine did in Cape Town. And it just clicked in, and something said to me, a voice said, you need to leave. And I acted on that. And that intuition saves your life, puts you in the right place, even though it might seem difficult. So once you have this knowledge, you're conscious. So it's very difficult to become unconscious again. So this path, and I say this to many people, it is not for everybody. If you're serious about transforming and you super committed and you wake up one morning, you say, I have made the choice to be the greatest I can, be the greatest version of myself. And I want to operate from a high frequency and I want to be responsive. I don't want to be reactive, losing my temper, screaming, shouting, volatile. I don't want to be that anymore. And no, I don't want to be a guru up in the mountain. No, I don't want to live in an ashram. That's easy. Anyone can be chilled going if they're in an ashram. You want to master your energy to such an extent that you can be in the middle of the busiest, most vibrant city, and you can still maintain your balance, and you can still play with your energy. And yes, you'll have down days, like I've just told you about, and good days and sad days. We all have them. But your ability to jump back is what's the mastery. And that's what I love seeing. If I have a very, very bad experience, I just had a terrible situation with my twin brother, and it was very difficult. But my ability to handle it and jump back was what made me even more proud of doing this work and sharing this work, because that's where you will get to. But if you don't want to, you will fall away. So, you won't pursue it and commit to it, the 10 steps, all the way to the end.
By the way, we're talking with Val Toledo, and she is in Cyprus right now. And if you want to go to her website and find out all about her, and she works with people all over the world, so you can go to valtoledo.com and you can find out all the information that you need to work with her. Because I will tell you this, when you get to a certain point, when things don't bother you the way that they used to, and you can get through them without having a real drama fest of what's going on, things in your life will improve and you will learn a lot of real positive things. And just being positive is enough. That's all it takes. And but Val, I got to take a break, and we'll be right back, and we're going to talk more with Val Toledo about alchemy and being a spiritual alchemist and really living your life to the best, most fulfilling piece that you can. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
As you go about your daily life, look closer. As you gather with family and friends who love and support you, look closer. There are youth right in your community who don't have the home, warmth, and healing you have. So look closer. Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. And for 50 years, Covenant House has worked relentlessly to keep them safe and protected. Tonight, 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed. And tomorrow, they will wake up surrounded by love. They get clean clothes, hot meals, medical care, and a safe place to sleep. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In sites across America to help them fulfill the great promise of their lives. So look closer at Covenant House. To help or get help, go to covenanthouse.org.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. We have a great guest for you today. Her name is Val Toledo. She is a spiritual alchemist. And in the early part of the show, we talked about what an alchemist is and what alchemy is. And you had a beautiful explanation of it. And can we say that again? Can you read that again? Because I somebody who wasn't listening at the early part, I would like them to have the opportunity to get this definition that you're about to say.
So when I looked it up, there were a few different definitions, and a lot of them was about working with metals and, moving metals, melting gold, melting lead. And it has, in some respects, the word alchemy has some kind of a negative feeling to a lot of people, and I don't know why.
It is and it actually is, from what I understand, it is kind of religious based, that
Yeah,
when they're talking about turning lead into gold, which I believe is more of a metaphor than it
yeah,
is actually turning one to the other. But in the term that you use it in, it's about changing your energy and your spiritual being spiritually alive, and moving forward in a very positive way, rather than. And so that's, from that standpoint, that is the alchemy that you're talking about. But
yeah.
read the definition, because I think
So
it's beautiful.
there were so many, and this one jumped out, and I went, "That's exactly what I'm trying to do." So I will read it again. So they do mention physical alchemy, because there is a physical alchemy where you work in a laboratory with actual metals and properties and transform them into different properties and different liquids. So there is that aspect to it, but this is what I am talking about. While physical alchemy deals with altering and transforming the properties in the physical world, spiritual alchemy is connected with freeing your spiritual self from your fears, limiting beliefs, systems, and a lack of self acceptance. Alchemy is the art of transformation, inner liberation, and change. So, just those few sentences encompass everything.
Well, that's really, honestly, we all at one point, and you and I talked about it in the pre-interview that we did, and I say it in the beginning of the show, which is, why am I here, and what am I really here to do? a- Most of us at one point or another, some get the advantage of having it early in life, but a lot of times it doesn't happen until our 40s or
Mm.
maybe our 50s, when we are now convinced that whatever we've been doing ain't enough. We want more. Why am I really here? I'm here to do more than what I thought. And that is the first step, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that is the first step to beginning to go on this journey of finding out who you really are and what you're here to really do. Is because there has to be an understanding that there has to be more. You don't know what it is. I didn't know I was going to end up on the radio, for heaven's sakes, but I knew that there needed to
And
be more.
I didn't plan to do any of what I'm doing now either. It wasn't.
That's how isn't that how it works?
Mm.
Is that you get guided step by step by step, and you end up doing something that you had no earthly idea that you could be doing at that time, but now you're doing it and you're thriving with it, and it's something that is near and dear to your heart, and that's why you work so hard at it. Am I correct?
Yeah, I find mostly in the work I do, with the what I call the alignment coaching, which is the teaching of the philosophy of the upward spiral, how to become your own alchemist, how to keep on raising and growing yourself better. I find most people, when they get to their 40s, that's when it begins. Could be early 40s, mid 40s. For me, it certainly started at about, I was always a very spiritual person. I was always very, very deep thinker. Even as a child, I grew up very quickly. I was orphaned at the age of 14. So, I was never a child, because I lost my mom at 7, and I was never a teenager because I lost my father at 14.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so I grew up really quickly, and I always questioned life, and I was always that person that was questioning life. But even with that background that I had, I got caught up in the swing of work, ambition, having fun. And I got caught up in all of that, having children, getting married. I was very, very, very always wanting to have children, always wanting to be a mom. For me, the most important job I have and my greatest priority is to be a mother. And that took first place before any of my career or even this work that I'm doing. So that was really important. But once I got over all of that, I'll never forget Kevin standing on my balcony, looking over at this beautiful view. And I kind of achieved pretty much everything I wanted to. And had my 3 kids at the time, now 4. And I was looking out there and I said, you've got everything. Why do you feel so empty? Why do you feel like you've got a hole in your soul? You've got your marriage, you've got your husband, you've got your children, you've got this lovely house you're living in. Why do you feel so empty? And that's when the voice starts coming in. It's a tiny little voice. And it's like a little bird that just taps you. And it irritates you. You flick it away, and it comes back. You felt it, I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
And it starts tapping you on the head or on the shoulder. And it goes, there's so much more than this that you can do. And that happened to me in my 40s, where I started my journey of really, really looking into who am I? Why am I here? Outside of being a mother and a wife and a sister, outside of that, what is for me, I needed a greater purpose in life. It is not important for everybody, by the way, but I needed that greater purpose. I needed to feel I could do something to make the world a better place. It was so important for me that I had to do something that, even in the tiniest little thing, if I could just make one person more educated, because I was a teacher, and more happy, and another person with the work I'm doing now create an incredible life for themselves, that's okay, and it's enough. So for me, I needed that greater purpose. But for others, it's really, as you said earlier, it's just about having the greatest life for yourself, becoming the greatest version of yourself. And that is enough. If you are going to be the most fantastic person in the office that touches everybody's hearts, and you just change their lives just by being there, that is enough. If you're going to be the greatest mother, and you're going to help your children mold their lives so they can become the greatest human beings they're able to be, that's also enough. Or you might feel the drive like you did, Kevin, where you really wanted to take it further, and you wanted to be able to reach more people, to be able to get them to stand up and shine, stand up and shine. That's the simplest way I can put it. And there your journey begins, and you start investigating philosophies. Maybe you go to a psychologist, maybe you go to a healer, maybe you go to a coach, maybe you go to all those lovely retreats and yoga retreats and whatever, walk the Camino and all of that. But if you stay the same, which all my clients that come and see me have done all of that. They've done the Camino, they've been to the ashram, they've been in therapy for 5 or 10 years, and nothing in their life has changed. And those are the people that come to me. Nothing in their life has changed.
Because in a lot of cases, they're looking for some external force to fix them. Whereas in what you do is you help them realize that it's the internal force of who they are. Because I firmly believe
that they
inside. I firmly believe that every one of us has a contract and has an idea of who we want to be before we even get here.
That's right.
And so we then spend our whole lives trying to figure out what it is that is, and then do it. I'll give you an example of somebody that is not trying to change the world. She's my sister, as a matter of fact, and she's got a husband who eats 3 meals a day, regardless, every day, but he doesn't cook. And
Oh,
so her job
that's tough.
is to take care of him and to cook every day for him on 3 meals and to make him happy, and that fills her soul and makes her happy. So it doesn't have to be that you're making a huge impact in the world. It's
No,
that you are making yourself and the people around you better by you being here. Does that make sense?
it does, but I'm just going to put a but there, which I
Okay.
don't want to complicate your sister's life. Don't let her
Too
listen
late.
to this, please. But the but there is, as long as the people that you're giving your love to, because let me tell you, when somebody gives their energy to you, their energy, their love, they put you in motion, they are looking after you, they are protecting you. You have to know, the person that's receiving it, her husband, that you've been touched by grace. And if you don't recognize that, then you're not giving the person who's giving it to you enough recognition, acknowledgement, and respect. And in that case, I would be coaching that person to start making sure that they receive it.
And I agree with you 100%. Now, in this particular case, because food is his number one jolly thing that makes him happy and shine, he's highly appreciative of the
Okay.
fact that she's become a tremendous cook and she can do all of these things. And that makes his tummy happy and that makes him happy. And he's
And
very
he gives
appreciative.
back to her as
And he
long as
gives back to her. That's exactly right. Again, we're talking with Val Toledo. We need to take our final break, and I'm having a great time talking to you. And
yeah. There's so much to talk about. I feel as though we haven't even covered it.
I know. Well, we're going to talk about the upward spiral and your book and your work and your workbook when we come back from this break. It's just 30 seconds. Just relax, everybody. We'll be right back.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. We've got a great guest for you today. Her name is Val Toledo. She is a spiritual alchemist. And if you didn't catch what exactly that is, we've said it a couple of times and given a definition. So you're going to have to replay this going forward. And you can do that on the Brushwood Media Network. You can do that on YouTube and Facebook and all kinds of places. And it's going to be a podcast. And it's going to be on over 100 different platforms. So you'll be able to find Val just about any darn place you choose because she's very talented and so let's talk about, you developed something called the upward spiral. Let's talk about your work, and if somebody wants to invest 15 hours and spend some time with you, what are they going to get?
Okay. So if I can just add something quickly before I go on to that.
Sure.
A lot of people, we were talking about taking this process seriously, which is the process that I take people through. And I find a lot of people, I always say they like to play the game of healing, the spiritual game. It's a lot of fun. You go to these retreats and you go to these lovely places and you do breathing and yoga and meditation, and it's a whole lot of fun. It's a whole lot of fun. And you find a tribe, and all of you can chat to each other. And you've got a tribe that you can relate to. But the problem is you're all chatting about your problems to each other. But nobody's chatting about the solution to getting out of the ropes that bind you, the problems that you have that are bringing you down. There's very little talk about solutions. It's a lot about what are my problems, who I am, what I've had in my life, and then I'm going to go into meditation and click, it's going to get better. So there is a fashion, it's a fashion out there that everybody started belonging to. And if you really want to become a spiritual alchemist and you really want to transform, you've got to peel the onion and you've got to take the layers off that are going to make you cry. And you've got to get to the real root cause of the problem. So that's what the upward spiral does. It zones in on what I call the root of the problem, or the seed. The very first seed, the minute little seed that was planted inside of you, that caused you to think the way you think about yourself. And what happens is, it can be through being conceived. It can be at the time of pregnancy. I'm just telling you all the different people that I've worked with and the different seeds. Where did their seed start? Where did their root start? Pregnancy, preconception, birth to 5 years of age, birth to 10 years of age, 10 years of age to 18, mostly up until 18. That is where that seed, that root, which is firmly entrenched inside your cellular memory, inside your psyche, inside your mental neural pathways of your brain, which are telling you the same story over and over again. You will never make it. You will never be anything in life. You will never be successful. Or teachers at school, you're stupid, you can't read, you can't write. I mean, I can talk about all the different messages, subliminal messages that are running around in your brain and where they came from. A very interesting lesson that I learned was when I was working with someone and trying to uncover what is their root seed, what is the beginning seed that has created this prison around them, so they can't move forward. They can't move out of it. I got quite surprised because a lot of the stuff came from genetic lineage. So it was something that, let's say, from the mother's side, the father's side. From the mother's side, she inherited it from her mother. She inherited from her mother. And sometimes I would go, how many generations back is it? And I would go to like 10 generations and I'd stop there. I mean, it was as much as 10 generations back. So it's that same lineage that teaches the same thing, that says the same thing, and it goes through into you. So that is formed between 10 generations back up until 18. And I will find where that seed is, at what point and at what age. The seed I call your computer chip. This is a chip that's inserted in your body and it runs your life. Whether you like it or not, 100% runs your life. You are unconscious of it. You do not know it's there. And you cannot change it because you don't know it's there. So the 360-degree turnaround where you flip the coin and it's head or tails is where you know what that program is. What that program is sitting in your physical cells at the root of the cause of all the cycles that you keep on repeating. So that's why you'll have a lot of women who will marry an alcoholic, who possibly abuses them, and they leave him, and they marry another one who does the same, and they leave him, and they don't know why they keep marrying the same person, and they don't know why the cycle just keeps on repeating. And the reason why it does is because we haven't taken that seed, that computer chip out of you. So the first part of it is me finding it. Takes about 3 to 4 hours for me to find it. Once I find it, I then start the process of clearing it out of you through various means. I don't want to go into all of them because a lot of them are a channel to me. A lot of it's intuitive. I'm guided all the time for that specific person with me. So I get guided what I have to do with them, what healing I have to do, what exercises I have to do. Each one is different. And then we write a new program, a completely new one that honors you, honors your divinity, honors your greatest, highest self. And then starts the process of rewiring the neural pathways in your brain. And that has to happen with a lot of repetition in real life. So you will have situations in real life that you now can observe. You're now conscious, you're aware of your program. So you'll see something with your boss, he'll come into the office and he'll say something and make you feel small and minimize you and make you feel less than. And you'll look at it and you'll go, oh my gosh, there it is. That's my program. Now I know why I keep on getting these terrible bosses wherever I go. I keep on getting them because that's my program. So I will attract it. So then you're able, instead of reacting, which is running out the office and bursting into tears, or saying nothing and running away, fight or flight, fight or flight, the survival mechanism. Instead of doing that, you will be able to not be reactive and you will be responsive. And through the 10 steps, well, this is the rewiring now, there's a set of steps I give you which takes you into, I'm not going to react from old shadow wounded ego. I'm going to respond from new higher self, because I'm in my higher self, new higher self program. And you're going to handle that so brilliantly that bully boss will never do that again. Or you will have the courage to walk out and leave.
Or it won't matter anymore.
Or it won't even bother you because you're not reactive anymore.
It won't matter you. Now, by the way, we've run out of time, my dear. And so you're going to have to come back and we'll do this again.
Well, that's pretty much, we pretty much, that's the kind of the end. And then you master it and then you learn to alchemize. And that's the whole process and your whole life changes from there.
And if you want to find out more, go to valtoledo.com and you can find out more about her. You can book a session with her. You can find out all the courses that she offers and all of that. It's been a great pleasure having you here. I really enjoyed it.
I've loved every minute of it. You make it so comfortable.
I've been told that my whole life. I'm just soft and comfortable.
But boy, oh boy, you shine your light, right? And you harness that energy in that point in the world.
That's my point. That's my job. That's why I'm here. Again, Val Toledo, thank you so much. Go to her website, valtoledo.com, and have a great day, everybody. It's a beautiful day, no matter where you are, if it's morning, noon, or night. And take care, and we'll see you next time on Positive Talk. And hold on, I gotta put the mouse in the right spot. Thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Our purpose is to provide everyone with a positive, entertaining, and educational experience. I would love your feedback and comments about the show, including possible topics and great guest suggestions. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro. And remember, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got. That's Kevin at kmmedia.pro.